own people are even saying it. The other half
No,
saying that
they're not.
crackhead, that I'm
They
dead.
don't.
Your own people, homie, like that. They know you.
Fam, it doesn't. Fam.
Oh,
Stop
think
talking about what
after,
people are saying. Stop talking about what people are saying.
and
Fam,
they put
stop
the credit card
talking about what people
information.
are saying. Stop talking about what people are saying. This is me and you. Forget what people are
No,
saying.
I mean, forget what people are saying. That's the point. So the people can know.
Does it matter what people are saying? You're supposed to be the voice for the people, so ask them. Don't say what people are saying. Ask the questions. So, people are saying this. Is this some he said, she said bullshit?
What happened?
You
What
got
happened?
had. I
Here?
want to see evidence.
Hello and welcome to another day in paradise. Today I want to talk about Shaka Bars and the reason why nobody trusts him. But first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share and click the bell notification. So if you've spent any meaningful amount of time online in the past few years, in regards to activism in Africa, you would have definitely have ran into this guy, either on Instagram, on his Facebook page, or even through YouTube. Shaka Bars is a Caribbean-born African, well, so-called African diasporan, who moved from, I think it was Barbados. I think that's where he was born, and then he moved to the United Kingdom, Leeds, which is about 200 miles north of London. He moved there with his parents when he was very young and grew up and spent the majority of his life in the UK. Now, he started up a charity in the UK. I cannot remember the name of the charity off the top of my head, but it was something to do with games, the sports of some kind, some sort of gladiatorial sports. He was looking to take those people who were living in poverty, the kids that were living in abject poverty, which they do in the north of England, everywhere in England, by the way. Take them off the streets and introduce them to sports, introduce them to education, and empower them essentially by giving them something more constructive to do, and obviously giving them a different type of mindset so they can battle society, which was completely against them, which is a great idea, I must admit, and it took off and it did extremely well. So he also joined the British Army and served. I think he served for 7 years in the British Army. So he toured over the world, toured over Africa, and fell in love with the continent and its people, and went back to Africa to do charitable work and activism, building schools, helping kids with education, and medical help in regions where it was difficult to find doctors and that type of medical work. So he did extremely well. Shaka Bars, that you can't deny that he's done a lot and has changed the lives of many people, not just in Africa but throughout the diaspora, because he did a lot of work in the diaspora too. I need to say this first. Right, I know a lot of people are going to be watching this and they're going to be saying, well, oh, okay, here we go. One British, African diasporan coming in to support another British African diasporan who is a fraud. He's coming to, and this is not the case. I'm not here to support Shaka Bars. Quite the opposite, actually. I don't get along with Shaka Bars. I don't get along with him, and the small amount of interactions that I've had with him over the years have always been negative. He's blocked me on all social media outlets, except for YouTube, actually. So you might hear this, but he's blocked me on everything else, and it's nothing to do with his work. I think he's actually a good person, but I just don't like some of the things that he does personally. I guess you can say that it is kind of personal, which is a shame, really. But I'm going to go into that. I'm going to explain that in a few moments, actually, why me and him don't really get along. So, like I said before, Shaka Bars has a really decent following. He has a cult following, you could say, throughout the world, internationally. A lot of people on the continent love this guy, and a lot of European Americans, a lot of European, mainly women, love him. Now, he's openly said that he was 100% B1, that he only would date a black woman, that he is he wanted to protect the black woman, and that the black woman should always come first. All things, he's saying the right things, right? All the noises he makes sound good to me. I mean, I can't complain with anything he says. He has raised millions of dollars over the last 10 years for charitable causes in Africa and throughout the diaspora. And he has helped, like I said before, many children to get into education and help them with their schooling. He's even built many schools in Africa. So why does no one trust him? You see, Shaka Bars is a particular type of guy, right? He is very protective of himself. I don't want to, I'm going to have to say this. He loves himself. Shaka Bars loves himself. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that inherently. I think there's something, I think there's nothing wrong with being confident with yourself. Personally, I don't like it when somebody puts up a video of himself about the work that he's achieved and how little respect he gets from the African community in the diaspora. You know, if you're really happy with your charitable work, if you're really happy about that, then why ask for respect from it, from people you don't know? You've done the job. You're happy with that, right? You're happy with the job you've done. You've built a school, or you've taken kids to the cinema. That's good. You should get enough from that. You shouldn't have to ask strangers in the diaspora to give you a pat on the back for it. So number one, I would have to say that he's very cagey when you ask him questions online. When you question anything about him online, he will either deflect the question, or he will attack you, or he will block you. Most of the times he will block you, because that's what he's done with me, and that's what he's done with many people. Many people that have asked questions about him, he has automatically blocked. And obviously when you're doing things like that, it looks like you have something to hide. Now, once again, I'm not saying that he is hiding something. You know, he could be totally genuine. I don't know. But the question is, from the beginning, why are people feeling this way about this man? Why? He does something particular online which I personally dislike as well. And it's called being a white knight. The term white knight, what does that mean? So what he will do is he will wait and he will troll the conversations being had inside particular accounts owned normally by white women, right? Normally. He will troll these accounts and he will read the comments. And he will look for conversations where he can interject and argue and act as if he's protecting the women. He does this all the time. He's renowned for this. So that is what a white knight is. He does that all the time. He comes in, looks for arguments, and then backs up the side of the women, because it's normally women who are following him. You got to remember this. And he normally goes onto profiles of so-called woke women, you know, yoga women and all those types of people. He'll go onto those sites and he will look for those. And once he does that, obviously it makes him look righteous to these women. He just looks good, you know. He's a good-looking guy anyway, right? He's a good-looking guy. So he'll come in, sweep in, and then normally he doesn't have to do much else, but normally he will get a following from the people that he was sort of supporting, or the people that are reading the comments and saying, "Oh wow, look at him! Look what's happened." And he'll do this systematically. And it's quite slimy. I don't like it particularly, personally. And yeah, that is what being a white knight is. So another thing which I think particularly makes the African diasporans throughout the diaspora ask questions of him is this episode he had where he was, you know, you've got a guy, he was hanging out around with the Hollywood elite and doing everything he could to get money for the kids over in Africa. Okay, so I know it's a bit of a cliche now, isn't it? It's a bit boring listening to this, but that's what he was doing. And bless him, it's working for him. And he's been seen hanging around with Ben Stiller and Tom Hanks, and he has got money from these guys and managed to help kids in Africa from this. The only problem with this is that you have the Hollywood elite that were at the time being accused of being pedophiles, right? And here he is working along with and for African children. And a lot of people in the diaspora did not like the sound of that. The words African children, Hollywood elite, they didn't go with each other, right? Nothing good was going to come from that in the eyes of the African diasporans, especially the woke ones, right? So a lot of people started asking questions of him. There was also an incident as well where he had collected and raised over $1 million to feed children in Africa, and apparently all those children got were sort of crackers, water crackers, and some sort of sustenance, some sort of cheap sustenance that was not worth $1 million. So people were asking, well, what's going on with that? So yeah, he earned a lot of money. He had raised a lot of money, and then he had seemingly took a leave of absence. I don't know. So a lot of people were also questioning what had really happened with that money. Did he just line his own pockets and did his own thing? Another thing which I don't think a lot of people have spoken about is the colorism aspect and his nationality. So these are two things that have pretty much gone hand in hand. He's a light-skinned guy, right? He's a light-skinned guy. He's from Barbados, so he's probably got admixture of Indian and all sorts of other nationalities and ethnicities and races inside of him. So he is mixed race, but I don't think he's just biracial. I think it's a combination. And in the wider diaspora, the people that look like me, your Bantu, Africans, they look at people like Shaka Bars with a lot of suspect. They have a lot of suspicions, simply because of the history of the way light-skinned African diasporans were used and seen as something better than us, and that still runs through a lot of our minds when we are judging somebody. And then it's his accent. He speaks with a British accent. I know I speak with a British accent too, okay? I am fully aware of that, but you know, he has that combination of those two factors, and also he's gone on to a lot of, his publicist has done very well. He's done a lot of terrestrial TV in the UK. You see him being doing interviews with a lot of social media stars, and so it's one of those situations where when someone's doing too well, and then you add in those two factors, the light skin part and his British accent, a lot of particularly African Americans are going to look at him like, okay, who's behind you? He's really a phenomena which is very strange, because he has both parties from the political divide disliking him. He has a lot of the conservative white people don't like him. Okay, it's the liberals which are going for him. Conservative but white people don't like him. Conservative black people also don't like him. Conservative liberal black people don't like him. Woke black people don't like him. Black people in general don't like him, which is strange. Which is very strange, because if you look at everything he's done, it can't be argued that he's done a lot of good for a lot of people. But I think Shaka Bars is somewhat a victim of his own success and his own circumstances. He's a good-looking, British raised, African diasporan, light-skinned. He has a beautiful black woman beside his side. You know, he speaks all the right language. He says all the right things at the right time, and I just think that over the generations, a lot. It's unfortunate for him because over the generations, a lot of black people have looked at people like that and gone, something's not right here. It's sad to say this, but that is pretty much the truth. And I think over the generations we've developed a talent for sniffing out people. It's like our sixth sense. Yeah, I think jealousy also has to play a big part in this. I think a lot of people are jealous of his success and what he's done, and the attention that he has garnered, and the life he lives. And you know, I think he lives somewhere, I can't remember where he lives now, but he lives somewhere very rural in the tropics somewhere. He's living his life. He's living a good life. He looks happy. Haven't seen him in a while. Like I said, he's blocked me from Instagram. Yeah, from what I last saw of him, he was doing very well. So, like I said, I think that a lot of people just see him as being fishy because he does everything right. He doesn't put a foot wrong. So I think a lot of what people have been speaking about have just been vicious rumors that they've made up simply to make people look down on him, or to make him look bad. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason why a lot of these rumors are swirling around anyway. A lot of this Pan-African pro B1 movement, he hasn't been a part of that because he's been largely rejected by the community. And I think that's sad. I don't think... do you know what? I think it's sad, but I think it's necessary. I think there are, I mean, you know, I cannot, especially with real woke black people, you can't F with them. They can see straight through you. Yeah, they have the help of the ancestors inside them, and they can see straight through people like Shaka Bars if he's up to something wrong. I can't see it myself, but you know, a lot of these woke black folk, they can. So I'm with them. I trust them. I trust their intuition. Another reason why African diasporans don't like him, especially the woke African diasporans, they see him using and viewing, showing the poorer side of Africa, how the children are not taken care of and how bad things are. And he's like UNICEF or something like that, you know. He promotes that sort of bad side of Africa, and he needs to do it to garner attention for his charities and to get money for him. And people like me, we see through this. It's disgusting. It's nothing. There's nothing pro-black about that. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say this. I might be wrong. He might be just totally genuine. Bit full of himself, but totally genuine. He might be just good at everything. I don't know. I can't judge Shaka Bars, and I won't do that either. I don't even know why I started thinking about him, to be honest with you. But I had noticed that he'd sort of taken a back seat when it came to activism, when it came to the unarmed killings of black men and women in America, to the new movement of people back to Africa. He's been silent largely. Okay, I'm not going to continue ranting about him today. I think that I've said my thing. I've done my thing there. So, how about you? What do you think about Shaka Bars? Have you had any run-ins with him in the past? Do you think he's genuine, or do you think Shaka Bars is a fraud? Let me know in the comments below. It'd be really good to have a chat with you guys. I'm going to continue with my day. I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe out there and ta-ra a bit.